I want to try to cover the book Tock, An Awareness of Satanic Ritual Abuse. It's written by one of my friends. He's very, very clever, very brainy, knows everything on physics and everything on the spiritual and all that. And that's who I go to for if I'm stuck on occult issues for my videos and so forth. And then I go to this woman who wrote this book. I just made this video earlier and it all was no good, it had no sound. So I'm hoping this one will have sound, so I need to check to see everything is in order because I keep wasting time and it's not on. So yeah, it is, but I don't really need that across the screen, and I bet you it does video it. I just need to know that it's all working because it's fun and games. Anyway, she is a DID, and or as they would call it in the psychiatric world, that's invented by the Tavistock, really, funded by the Rockefellers. But really, it's mind control. So she's suffered satanic ritual abuse, and she's retrieved some of her memory. She's also been programmed MK Ultra, and she's recovered some of the memory of that. And then she understands that realm. So I want to... She's quite a quiet person, so I doubt she's ever going to make a video. So I think, well, if I make the video, then at least you know what the book's about. It's a theory. I hope I haven't got dirty more. I just did. I carry. Right. So in the introduction, she says, "What if I said everything I have to say is true? Would it make you believe me? I doubt it. Society has managed to eradicate the concept of any such evil happening in the world as an impossibility. So let me not say anything except that it's true in my world. I have no family anymore by choice. One of the first choices I made when I learnt 39 years into life that I too actually did have choice. What I tell you is what I know. At the time I write, new things come up all the time. New things that I try to push straight back down. Some things are better left unknown. Some things can't be fixed." That's an introduction. Where should we start? I mean, I just want to sort of give a gist. I don't like my glasses on. I wanted to give a gist of the video, the gist of the book, so that you know what's in it. And really, you need to read the whole book because it is, as far as I'm concerned, it's the best book I've ever read to explain all the satanic side of things and in terms of the DID, mind control. And I'm going to probably make it into two videos because she covers all the satanic stuff, and I mean, you're talking about high level and trading in children, and then she also breaks down all the deprogramming into a logical understanding of how programming is done with the brain, the workings of the brain, and how to fix it. So I think they deserves two videos. So that's, I know when I just made them just now, it was so long making just the first bit, it was like that'll do, and then I saw there was no sound, so that was a waste of time. But maybe not, maybe I got practice or something. So I'm not going to read it all because yes, lots in there. So let's just try and think. So she says on SRA, it's chapter 7, SRA, and this book you can get it. It's available print on demand on Amazon, and so you can go to .co.uk, amazon.co.uk for Britain, and then .com for America, and then different countries have different dots, whatever they are, Amazons, but you should be able to find it. Although when I first searched it, it was only coming up as China, and then it asked for me to sign in and prove I wasn't a robot. And then on Facebook she did make a page, and I looked after a couple of days and it said something like 47,000 people were talking about, but then when I looked again it only had 1,000. But I did screenshot the 40 something thousand, so there's no way they can say it didn't ever say that. So that's just an interesting factor to show you, and I think that validates, and I mean, she's my friend, so I know that she's not full of rubbish. But it shows you that people are trying to make it silenced because, yes, truth sets us free, doesn't it? So under SRA, she says, "For the survivor, this book is real. This is not. There is no sugar coating. The experiences, be it from childhood or be it experiences during healing. This book is meant to give you hope, but this book does not lie either. Healing is not an easy path one might have expected it to be for us. For us, healing is not the normal sense of healing. It's not where there is the worst and it gets better. No, for us, healing starts in a place where most is unknown, and the more you heal, the more you remember and learn. That means in healing you have to go through hell to get out of hell. It's by no means easy, but I do believe it's worth it, for no other reason than the final outcome of healing will be a place of wholeness where you and your owner, sorry, where you are your own. Where no one else has any control over you, and where you cannot be used unknowingly. And that makes healing worth it, unless you are a person who is okay to live with the knowledge that you are being hurt and that you are hurting others, in which case this book is not for you. This book is for those who want out. This book is also for those who want to know what it is like to experience live with DID and learn about SRA so that they can help someone in that situation. This book is a book that is meant to somehow bring hope to a situation that seems hopeless. No easy feat. So that's our introduction. Not introduction, that's a bit on the SRA. I mean, although it goes into more depth. Next it says, do you know? And the thing is, yes, you've got this SRA, I have to go there. You've got this SRA situation going on. That it does exist. But the powers that be put people in place to make fake situations. You see, like you've got the Hampstead case here, and then you've got a divide over it, because what the children talk about in the Hampstead case does go on. And what they've experienced may be a lot of that. But what is the case is that's an orchestrated, like there's a hoaxed. It's an orchestrated, in my opinion, orchestrated setup, platform for the Tavistock to create a drama, create a spin, with mind-controlled slaves to do the work for them, to spin the story, then discredit it, divide the people that are trying to fight for those who are victims. And so they create these stories which are based on truth, but are stories for them to spin so that they can go, oh, satanic panic and all that. And you're going to go right back, and that needs to be another video. But this is what they do, is they create these stories with real victims. And but I assure you SRA does exist, and but they're out to make it that we divide if we don't agree whether it does or not, and they'll tell you the stories that you can follow. So I just wanted to say that because I needed to say it at some point. So she's put, do you know? So tell me, do you know of what I speak? How much time I've got? 8 minutes 36. Do you know of what I speak? Do you know of the words that fill the corridors between the cracked bricks, holding back the vile stench of fear, spilt urine, feces mixed with what was once scarlet but is now just stained blood puddles scattering the cold concrete floors of a tiny inner dwelling, the small room chamber where children's dreams are stolen and their minds flashed with an acid dripped poisonous terror. Do you know? No? No, I don't think you would. Didn't think you would. That's okay. You're a lucky one. You are a good one. We are a good one. None of this will make sense to you. None of it needs to. For sense is not what you come to seek. For sense is not what you are able to accept. That's okay. We blame you, yet we know you can't cope with that which we must cope with. See, the difference between you and me, the difference of you choose to see what you see. We choose not to see what we have to see. Understand? Contradictory. Of course, everything in our world Everything is in our world. Everything is in our world. So tell me now, do you know what I speak, of what I speak? Do you know of the bones that lie crushed beneath the unbearable heat of the furnace that burns away everything that remains of what once was perfectly birthed to be mangled and disfigured beyond recognition, is the child or an animal, the lump of carcass that lies there beneath their feet. So tell me now, do you know of what I speak? No? What is hidden? That which is hidden is best left in the dark. So they say, right, no, wrong. It's a lot to ask, I understand, to ask that humanity chooses to open their eyes to the very things that hide among every aspect of life, to ask that humanity opens their eyes to see the truth of what children in certain paths of life are being subjected to ask that humanity looks past their own singular existence and encompass in their radius of those they care for, those that are forgotten and dismissed. It is a lot to ask, I understand. May I still ask it? For in asking is a risk that you take. For when asked, you can no longer deny the concept, the thought, that what if. In asking, you should be asked to face the things best left in the dark. Best for who? Best for you? Best for them? Not best for the children that suffer silently unbeknownst to you. For them I asked that you risk. You risk the question. You seek the answers. For them. For them I risk insulting you. In general. I do not intend to insult. I intend only one thing. To help those buried and forgotten under the immoral, unspoken law that says if you don't like the fault, declare it an impossibility. Let sleeping dogs lie while the children die. What moral, what ethic, what do you live in? What world do you live in, Zoe? A world that I now form a part of, a world I once dreamed of. This fairy tale realm that always remained out of reach and hence just fairy tale. But a tale I could see etched on the faces of those in the normal world that we interacted with in the hallways and classrooms of private schools. That we never felt a part of, but we felt their existence, felt the difference in them and in us, and the difference we saw in them drew us, called to us, singled us out among the normal, pointed us out as abnormal. We never did fit, yet now we form a more real part of this world, which we always craved and never felt. Now we feel it, and we look around it at all these normal people and wonder how vast is the chasm between normal and abnormal. Or is it merely the shade of hue that differs? For we see a world filled in majority by people who care only for them and theirs. They have no space in their hearts to have their lives perhaps disrupted by giving of their ability to care to those who have never known to be cared for. Who is there among you who can be trusted? Who means what they say? Who do as they speak? Who will stay? Very few. In the past year, since I have had the privilege of partaking in your world, I have met only two, but all I needed was one. I got a double blessing. I did. I am truly blessed. But what I wonder is of those out there, those without hope, who will be the ones to install hope in their vocabulary? Who will be there to help them pick up the shard of glass, which is what remains of their once whole vessel? Will it be you? Can I ignite within you a desire, a will to be the person to someone? I pray I can. I don't want to read the whole book. So I'll go through and on. She talks about deeper meanings of symbols and so forth. Um, she talks about, yeah, it's the heavy. It's not that heavy. She's made it very easy to understand about the sexual abuse that she had to go through. Um, uh, and uh, and then I want to go back on next is to the children that are in the mines, and I suppose I should scroll down the page if I can, and I can, to the picture of the children's mines. So these are the mines under the ground. This is in Africa, but the thing is, the children are put in cages all around the world. It's not just Africa. I'm in UK. They're in cages underground in the UK. I mean, the program is I was in cages, but I wasn't kept in the way that she's describing there for sale for trafficking. But yes, it's how they keep children, people, and all around the world. So yes, I'll read the bit on the mines. She says, I do not know how much time I've got. 4 minutes. Okay. She says, I do not know if I can adequately put this to paper. I can barely see through the tears that stream. The pain inside stings the air inside my lungs imploding. There are those sold. How will I ever stop the sale? How will we ever stop the sale of children? How? When it reaches so high, when it is so protected by those in places of authority. How? Who will help them? Don't you know, every day while you are sitting watching comedy on TV and doing something enjoyable, thousands of young children are being raped for a fee. Don't you know children are dying, and not just dying, but dying in the most painful of ways after having survived a life of sales, human trafficking? It touches every country. Did you know? Don't you know? And if you know, and the person next to you knows, and everybody knows, how come it still exists? I cannot stop the tears. I cannot stop the pain imploding in on itself, the anger, the hate. What is wrong with this world? What is wrong with the people that prey on your innocent children? Young innocent children, sorry. How can a child's body be attractive? Don't they know that they don't find youth in the stealing of youth for a child, stealing of youth from a child? Don't they know home come no one ever taught them that? How come no one ever taught them that? How can it be that human trafficking can be such a lucrative business? How? What monsters do we live amongst? I cannot breathe with the weight of it. There was a mine shaft when I was young, years ago, a mine shaft where they kept the children hidden, the children waiting to be sold, the children waiting to die. That's where they kept them, hidden underground, 4 levels down. There are the children that have arrived in shipments from various sources. I do not know the sources, but the cages fill under there until there is a sale, an auction. That's when people go to buy children. That's where people go to buy children. And no children they want to provide, and not children they want to provide a loving home to. Although I have heard it said that some children are lucky. Some children get bought and never sold again, but live with one abuser. But most are not that lucky. Most are sold and to be sold, resold and resold, rented out, and finally snuffed out. Every child that is trafficked will eventually find their rest at the end of an overextended experience of sexual and physical abuse. The ones that have outgrown their attraction of youth are either sold into prostitution circles that provide the renting of older children, young adults, but seldom does a child pass the age of 19 in those circles. All children who survive that long, they end up snuffed. there is a market for snuff film thing if it works. I better check and see if the volume works. Because yes, it's working. Because else I'm just recording and thinking I'm recording. And then it's just me moving my mouth. So about that, let's go on. So we're back to these children. Seldom does a child pass the age of 19 in those circles. All children who survive that long, they end up snuffed. There is a market for snuff films, although most of them are private collections, having been filmed for those with enough money to pay and who have a taste for or a desire to experience violently ending the life of an innocent. This world is a sick place, and those sick people, they walk amongst us, passing you in the street, standing behind you in the shops, doctors, lawyers, teachers, engineers, all vocations, they are sick people in walk in all walks. Except the problem is you can't tell they are sick by looking at them. You can't tell they are sick by talking to them. You can't tell they are sick by befriending or associating with them. You can only tell they are sick if you are sick and part of the same sick circle. Do you know the sound of infants being broken beyond repair? I pray you do not. That sound like a pop just muffled. That sound when the blood will start to flow uncontrollably and without stopping until it is all out. There are those in life who enjoy hearing that sound while they are raping an infant, sick, and they walk among you and me, and no one is the wiser. Do you know the sound of the vehicle pulling up outside to deliver new children to the stockpile? Do you know the sound of their feet on the gravel as they shuffle, the effect of being drugged for the journey? Do you know the stripping of their clothes, numbers and photos? Do you know how small they are? How the age of 12 is already becoming too old? Do you know? Do you know? No. Only those who are sick know. Do you know the guilt you carry when you remember such things years after it happened, when it's too late? Do you know the feeling of knowing such things could still be happening, but you have no idea if it's past or present? Disassociation and the breaking of the amnesia barrier, healing, to get through hell, you have to pass through it. Do you know what it feels like to know things and know you could not do anything to help them? Do you know what it feels like to remember things and have no way of helping them now it's too late? Do you know what it feels like to know so much yet not enough to be able to save the children? I do. I wonder what is the point of my life if I cannot help save the children. All I can do is write about what happened, what still happens in undisclosed locations all over the world. Not just in my past, not just some small sick group of people. No, too many people are sick and the world is just getting sicker. Do you know they treat them like cattle? Do you know you can get whatever you want as long as you pay the price tag? Do you know? Do you know how we can save them? I do not. I can only hope that writing will bring the awareness to the survivor who will hopefully get saved, to the reader who will hopefully be the one to save those caught in the sick underground. And yes, as I say, the undergrounds all over the world have got children stored. I understand that their final place they're taken to is Portugal. That's the end of the child trafficking line, and once they go in the cages in Portugal they will never come out. And I say these truths because yes, I'm informed of these truths, and if I don't say them, who will? She talks also about different programming, Teddy Bear's Picnic, Game and Numbers, The Water Tank. So she talks about torture and programming. She talks about a gift that they consider a gift. but it's not really a gift. She talks about the punishments if you ask questions, electric shocks, and being in the shed where they would rape her for rituals. She talks about illumination. How are we doing for time? Got 5 minutes. Illumination. I don't know where to fit this in, so perhaps here we'll have to do. It was my birthright, my inheritance. I was given to the Red Dragon. Married to him when I was 6. Again when I was 13. See, I was the price F paid. I was the one who got the inheritance, the red seat. But that meant I had to be illuminated. Not enough just to be enlightened. Had to be illuminated. Yes, I know what you're thinking. Next I'll be confessing to be a member of the Illuminati. What is that anyway? It's made out to be this notorious elite group, right? Right. That's what they would like you to think. But there is a lot more to them than you realise. A lot more in numbers, that is. In number, that is. Bloodlines, sure. Ranked only, sure. It's the secret they all want kept quiet. But they rule the world, right? Well, yeah, they do. But they ain't as powerful as you give them credit for. Sure, they have hands and feet anyway, anytime, anywhere, sorry. They have hands and feet anywhere, anytime, any place. But they are not invincible. They are not someone you can't outrun, so to speak. They are just a group of illuminated people. Just let me explain illuminated to you. It goes back to the gardens. Yeah, the garden. The tree that gave knowledge, the tree that would make you like God. Remember that tree? There is so much that should be in here, so much that probably won't. How do you describe something so vile in words? Vile, that's right. 'Cause you see, the key to being illuminated, the secret which they keep hidden from you step by step by the secret, is they take you through all the sexual deprivation that defiles God. See, there are 4 worlds. The number 4 is important, and I'm not entirely sure why either. I've got to find my place, got terrible eyesight. And blah 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 blah. Entirely sure either, to be honest. But that is it. Although Kabbalah has the 4 worlds, this can get really deep really quick, and I have no intention of that. I intend just for you to understand the lie they give and what they put certain children through. I know it's a rank thing. I know I was also chosen to be given because of this gift I am supposed to have, but that was just the reason I was chosen from our line and not one of the other children from the line. The Red Sea, that's a generational inheritance, one that does provide a rather substantial amount of protection in the spiritual realm, the dark side. See, it's all hierarchy, and the Red Dragon, he is pretty much at the top. That has always afforded me, whether I care for it or not, but afforded me a degree of protection, a degree of punishment. See, no demon in the hierarchy below could attack me without the authority of the Red Dragon. It's just the way hierarchies are sent. It's just the way hierarchies work. And the thing M&F used me for, it was a protection that I had to be grateful for, if that makes any sense. However, it is an authority that has to submit to the name of Jesus Christ, the name under which all must submit. I know that now. I just never knew that as a child, or I never experienced it, and when it comes to experience, it tends to outweigh knowledge at times. But first, let me describe the process of becoming illuminated. A thought that makes me want to spew vile, hurl all over the floor. It makes me sick to my stomach, and as much as I try, I fail to understand how people actually participate in the practice willingly, how they submit to it in an effort to reach illumination. I will never understand how. I had no choice. Because I don't want to read the whole book. But she explains what illumination is, and she's got drawings in there of the four worlds, and explains all the four worlds and the symbolism, which I don't. You need to read it really. The warp logic of SRA. God's. And what else have we got? Okay, well, I've made enough hierarchy. I suppose I should do that. But I think I'll do the hierarchy and then I'm done. Because it's like I've done a few 10 minutes as it is. So hierarchy. Hierarchy denotes life. It's true to every form. The food chain, the workplace, the family, the government, so it goes. Or as above, so below. But you shouldn't let it. At least you shouldn't let to the extent that they force you to submit to it. Where I come from, it works to the extreme. Rank rules, and ranks is bloodline. Hierarchy, those above rule those below. In a world of chaos, there is one rule. Hierarchy denotes. If you do not want to have to submit to someone's authority, then you have to be the authority. There is no saying no in chaos. There is no choice for those below. Those above, they make the rules, and those below, it seems that those in rank, those high up in the hierarchy, are the ones with choice, the ones who make the decisions. But that's a lie. That's what they want you to believe. There is no power higher than them, except there is, and it is a darker and deeper than you can ever conceive to imagine. Whatever your imagination might allow you to imagine is the limit of the darkness. No, just one thing, you are wrong. It's everything you can imagine and so much more, so much darker, so much deeper, and so much worse than you can fathom. I cannot even imagine the full spectrum of its evil, but I know enough to know that what I know is not the all of it. A person who thinks they know its depth and is ignorant, for they would never let you know their all. For knowledge is power, and they would never allow you to know all that would make you too powerful. And it's truth that sets one free, and they have no intention of freedom for you. What I'm talking about the realm of darkness that exists around you, that the majority of society is blissfully ignorant of. Blissful in their ignorance protects them from having to act. Blissful for them, devastating for those who need saving, devastating for there is no one to save them, no one who knows, and no one who would ever want to believe what is happening. Secrecy, a cloak of invisibility, lies over the darkness they do, a cloak formed by the very notion that normality will not believe the truth that swirls in the darkness around them. Normality prefers ignorance in general, and ignorant is exactly what they want normality to be, and so it is. There are many, many names for what I have to tell you about, but really there is no they are of no relevance. Their various names, that is, for their root is all the same, evil, and evil might have many faces, but it has one pulse. It flows from the same source. There is light, and there is dark. There really is no grey, no matter how much society would like to believe there is only the illusion of grey. Now, that I know will spark an argument, begging different. I apologise if I cause discomfort. I only know what I know, and perhaps it is time to tell. It is time to tell. The fact is, if I don't overcome my own fear and disorders as society likes to categorise the results of trauma, then I myself will fail to help those need saving, and I have learnt through my own experience saving is possible, for I was saved. Let me explain to you if I can fight the need to run into the corner of my mind and find solace in the disassociation. Let me explain, for it is important, why it might not affect you, your life. It affects the lives of millions that have no idea of, but perhaps one day you will be in a position where you can act, however small an action, but where you can act in a manner that sparks the hope needed in finding the freedom in a world where freedom seems unobtainable. What time we got? Sorry about this sort of check-in interruption, but it has to be like this or I'll end up with nothing. Got 5 minutes left. Okay. The picture is so big, to see the whole of it is not easy. There is many fragments of the picture already displayed over the world, and many people trying desperately to solve them and help those caught in those fragments. In that fragment, without seeing the entire image of the system will not be brought down. That does not mean, though, that those fighting for those stuck in the fragments should stop. Not at all. Every life that he can help is priceless. Even if only one life was helped, all the effort of the world would still be worth it, for life is precious. I would be lying if I told you I believe the system could be beaten. I don't. It's too well oiled, too organised. But if just one person can be helped by this book, then putting this book out there is worth it. Just the hope of helping even one is worth the eternal fight over my fears. Let's try. If I don't do this, then I am no better than everyone who was not there to help me when I needed help. It's the one thing I can do, give hope to those that I know think it's hopeless. I just want you to know there is hope. There are people, albeit few of them, out there who will be there. Still trying to get started here. The best place to start this is hierarchy, I think. Simple enough to explain, hierarchy. You just need a triangle, right? The top is a point, the highest point, where the leader of any given hierarchy would be. The base is the widest point, where the majority of the people in the hierarchy would be. Getting narrower, the higher you climb, right? I always assumed hierarchy is given, something everyone knows and understands, but perhaps not. Basically, the lower you are in the hierarchy, the more people you find at in the level. The less the level knows, the more levels you submit to, or the higher you are in the hierarchy, the less people there are at your level, the more people that are under you that have to submit to your authority, the more you know. Higher levels also know more and have something that lower levels don't. And then she goes on more and more and more, explaining the triangle and moving about the triangles, and I'm not reading it all. It's good, but I'm not reading it all. So I hope that I've covered it all there. And yes, you can buy the book online. It's quite cheap. And also you can read it on ebook. And I hope I have helped you understand the book a bit more and given it a